Hello and welcome. I'm meeting Dhruva Raghavan, and he's here with me, tuning in from New York, Manhattan. He goes to school at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic, if I get the pronunciation right. I have visited the school. Albany is the location. And how do you pronounce Albany? Or, yeah, you can always correct me. But it's so good to see you after those tumultuous high school years. I've known you and excitedly worked with you through college. So, yeah, just introduce yourself and we'll take it from there.
My name is Dhruva Raghavan. I'm studying mechanical engineering, and I just finished my first year out. I was
Awesome. So,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Now I went to BIS. I grew up in Bombay, and
There are different things that first year students go into college thinking. What is the most misunderstood about college? Misunderstood thing about college that you discovered uh, probably very early on?
I thought it was. I think it was quite like significantly easier than the IB. Even in engineering, we have the workload is heavy, but in terms of content, because you do so much and you're expected to squeeze so much content into such little time, nothing is really tested in that much. The testing isn't that complicated, so it's much easier to actually just do very well. Um, but yeah, in terms of complexity, it just wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, especially going from the IB. Because like my physics HL, we did as much as you do in any physics class, in like at least any general physics class. So yeah.
So that's on the academic side, right? So, and what about settling in, college life, all
I
of
don't
that?
think I don't think it's that bad. I think everyone just does it. You have to settle in, otherwise, like it happens, and everyone is coming to a new place, so everyone is making an effort to settle in. So the environment, at least at RPI, was quite smooth, the transition, I would say.
Going into mechanical engineering, is that a default? Like that's the major you ticked in your application, but what kind of advising did you get early on, orientation week and beyond, freshman advising that you use, or you've just figured it out with your friends and seniors who might be? So are you declaring that as a major, or is that
Yeah, no,
something?
I'm declared mechanical. I'm minoring in electrical as well, or I'm gonna do a concentration in electrical. So I'm like so I got research last semester with a professor. That then led to me. I was talking to this other professor who runs this Center for Smart Convergent Manufacturing Systems at RPI. They do a lot of work with automation in manufacturing and mechatronics. So the convergence of mechanical and electrical engineering. So now I'm looking towards, I want to get more involved with their work in their labs. That's what I'm doing over the summer here right now, which is why I'm now gearing myself more towards electrical as well, combining the two. But it was very fluid. It was the product of many individual experiences. It was not a path that was necessarily laid out to us, but in the beginning, but something that just kind of happened over time, very fluidly.
So how would you describe mechatronics and the skills that are required to become a valuable mechatronics engineer?
I think the big thing is just um, making sure that you practice and make sure that you do enough practice, especially when you're in relatively more basic classes. Um, the processes that you follow to solve the simpler problems that you're solving are the same processes that you later then have to apply to much more complicated systems. And then it's then too much if you're making silly small mistakes, which are like inevitable without practice. It's very easy to slip up, and it's important to build that foundation.
So when it comes to first year, how much lab work experience do you go dive into? And since you were an IB student, do you get to get a head start? You can skip a
Yeah,
few classes.
I did, but you don't really like lab exposure is more, at least at RPI, has more to do with independent research that you get involved with the professors and on campus. Because we at least I haven't had an engineering class so far that had me very involved with very hands-on work. But I know that in your third and fourth year you have a like culminating project, an independent project that like you choose to specialize in one field. So mine will be a mechatronics capstone, that's what it's called. And then you choose to like build some physical technology. I don't know about the specifics 'cause I'm still a freshman, but it I know at the later stages we get more hands-on. Right now, they're I think establishing more of a conceptual grounding for us.
All right. So we look at maker spaces on college campus videos and various other well-designed spaces for students to collaborate and put their ideas with other folk. Could be students, researchers, faculty members, and even industry experts who lend in. So what's the vibe at RPI? Is there a lot going on?
So yeah, so
There's-
I was in a combat. I joined the combat robotics club last semester. So we had to we had to stay below a £1 limit. We had a $500 budget, and we had to design a robot to fight with other robots. And then there was a big competition. The winners then progressed to there's a national £3 competition. So I had a friend who was their robot went and fought in the £3 competition as well. There's a lot of things like this as combat robotics. There's like a design build fly, they build like RC planes. There's motorsport, every year they build a car. It's a big it's very here at RPI it feels a bit like independent from the work itself because these are student run organizations that are just operating very independently, but um it's nice because it gives you the opportunity to actually to actually contribute a lot more than if it was necessarily and like go a step above. Like in my through combat robotics, I learned things. I learned how to use CAD before I actually took my CAD class, and it's like you're just getting that exposure early. I thought it was quite helpful.
You talked about clubs and different options and students can choose from. What is the typical number of clubs you signed up for in your first few weeks?
Yeah. I signed up for a lot more this semester.
Okay.
Last semester, I think I joined like the finance club for a week, and then it was a bit like I didn't get involved in many clubs last semester because I was in BRS. We didn't have many clubs in school. It wasn't a clubby school, right? But small school. So I guess I just wasn't conscious of it in the beginning. And then first semester I was just doing my schoolwork because I was like it was still a transition. Especially because the content isn't necessarily harder, but they move faster and there's more things that you have to cover. So staying on top of everything, also like in the IB, it's not that hard to do reasonably well because grade boundaries and everything is graded on a curve. And then that shift to like everything is like you have 70s, 80s, 90s. That was interesting. But yeah, I mean, this semester I got very involved and it was very nice. The clubs I started a club as well this semester. We're waiting to get recognized officially, but it's the Analyzing Engineering Innovations Club. We're exploring different engineered technologies and the various factors beyond just technical feasibility that fed into their eventual success or failure as commercial products. So not just how innovative is it, but how relevant is it to the socioeconomic state of the world at that time.
Okay, so that's really wonderful. It's combining socio-economic and innovation together. So it sounds like a very interdisciplinary club. So you get budgets for like launching this, how you propose it,
So we had to draft a constitution and a like club proposal, and then we had a meeting with the union board, which is a bunch of just upperclassmen, who they said basically basically they didn't realize that we had the intention of publishing case reports on specific technologies in the context of the time in which they were introduced. But I guess they didn't read through the documents before our meeting and came to that realization during our meeting. And so we needed to separately also apply for media permissions if we want to be posting opinion articles, which is what these would technically qualify as, to protect us from like legal liabilities in the US. But yeah.
That's fantastic. This is a pretty good overview of your academic / pre-professional orientation right in the first year. So kudos. What about life in general, like settling in, social life, quality of life? What is college like? What does it really mean to you?
Upstate New York is not very nice, but I'm close enough to the city that I can come down reasonably often. And even then on campus, it's fun when you're with your friends. Like I made good friends. When you're on campus, it's still fine. I have many complaints with just like food. Food is not that nice. I'm a vegetarian as well, so there's not that much. But I've started cooking for myself now over the summer. So hopefully I make it a habit and I learn to cook edible food. But yeah, I socially, everything is a transition, but I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it's that bad for anyone because you're surrounded by so many different people doing exactly the same thing. Yeah, like the culture in the US is definitely very different, but it's not unfathomable. It's I think what I expect, it is as I expected it to be. I don't think anything really caught me off guard. So yeah, I mean, it was fine.
When students back home in high school are, say, evaluating engineering institutions, there are large public universities, there are so-called very well-known like tech schools, which are private. And then there are these smaller schools, relatively unheard of. Could be a Rose-Hulman or RPI or Bucknell and so on and so forth. How would you help them navigate this decision if we were to switch sides now? Like you are the counselor, I'm the student. How would you do it?
I think the trade-off is just how much you value well-roundedness. Because at a base, like at these tech schools just don't have it. But in the context of engineering and STEM, you meet like many people who are just like ridiculously amazing at what they're doing, though they will struggle to clearly or like maybe nicely articulate that to you. So that's what it is. It's just they're all very smart. They're just smart in more technical ways, and there's well-roundedness is important, I think, to enable clear communication, and that's I think the one thing that is lacking at times, even in like the classroom. But there's no question of capability. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, wonderful. So for students who are wide-eyed and looking at tech as careers, and they get kind of lured by these trillionaires nowadays, or dreams of having a unicorn at the age of 17 or 18, right in high school, perhaps. Um, what is it that you would tell them? Now, this is like slightly more philosophical.
No, I
In
think
terms of, yeah,
the thing
go
is,
ahead.
if you start to study any of these things, you understand how much you actually don't know. And like, if you go to like Google Scholar and you're looking at most published papers are so hyper specific, because there's no way they can be detailed enough if they zoom any further out. So every the like you can there's a billion different ways to make money, but so you have to choose what you want to do, because you can make money doing effectively knowing nothing, and you can know everything and not make any money. So if you want to the flip side is going deep into research in any field, you will gain some form of at least technical mastery that will enable you to make the money. Money will come, is the point. It shifts away from being the focal point of your existence to a byproduct of your work. And yeah, that's I think that's the way most people do approach engineering. I don't meet many people who like really really hate what they do and are saying, oh, I'm just going to do it just to make money. Though I've met a lot of people exactly like that in like finance and consulting, more like fields where there is less emphasis on discovery and more on just maximization, no? So yeah, it's just, I guess, what interests you.
It's so well articulated. I think that's such a good way to put it. One last question, and this is related to future of technology. What do you think interests you more, deep tech or something else? In particularly, you mentioned mechatronics and other things, but what solutions do you think will be driving the future?
I don't know, I'm going into my second year.
Yeah, exactly. So you probably, yeah, it's very, yeah, just
uh,
a ball question for you.
so I mean, so I can tell you what I'm doing. I am in like over this summer, I'm working in a lab at RPI that's working with 3D printed smart structures. So they're trying to like leverage different material properties. I'm going to give you a very upper level overview because I also don't understand this.
Yeah.
They like leveraging some the material properties of lattice structures in exotic materials to harness energy in just unconventional ways. So like they can use this device to essentially it has many different applications. I explained that very badly, but yeah, I don't think that's the question
Yeah.
I can
So I
answer.
think once you get to the lab, we'll do another round of questions. I think it's a very fascinating concept to draw energy from something that you look at or something. I mean, I'm just making it up. But so yeah, I'll get more details as you get involved. In fact, I had a student back in RTI who was super successful, and I can put you in touch with him. He has amazing career in Manhattan. He works for Pfizer, and a lot of mechatronics stuff was something even he was doing back in 15 years ago or something. So I'll put you in touch, and he's super successful, and we're so excited to know there's one more
Yeah,
from my group that has made it to RPA. So thank you, Dhruva. It's so exciting to see you online, but I'd love to meet you when you're around in Mumbai.
yeah,
And say hello to everyone.
yeah. Of course. You wanna say hi to Shloka right now? She's right there. I'll call.
Yeah, sure.